This week on the Digital Coffee, Instagram, tell us how the algorithm works. Facebook aren't going to charge you to create paid Facebook events until 2023, and Instagram are making it easier for you to work with influencers. All that and more after this. Good morning, and welcome to the Digital Coffee. This is your weekly dose of digital marketing and social media news for small business. My name is Amanda Webb, and I've got something new happening this week after the show, a little bit after the show, enough time for me to have my cup of coffee. We are going to have a Twitter space. I am co-hosting a Twitter space with Making Zhang and Dan Holloway, so we can continue this discussion about the digital marketing news. So come along, have your say. We can have a full conversation once this show is finished. Few things. I still am clasping my cup of nothing. There's nothing in my cup, because I would love if you commented and let me know what is in your mug. We are sharing this digital coffee together. Is it a digital coffee for you? Is it a digital tea? And if you are on Facebook, if you're watching on Facebook, hello. If you leave a message on Facebook, I will send you a copy of the Digital Coffee newspaper by Messenger. If you are watching on YouTube, you will see that at the top of the comment box there and in the description, I put a link to where you can get that newspaper. So maybe enough talking for me. I can see we've got Ginny here who's had her tea already. You know what? Sad story. I've got another cup next to me. I ran out of time to finish my cup of tea this morning. I am not properly caffeinated. This is not good. Great, Ginny. Great that you're going to come and join our Twitter space. I think it will be a lot of fun to discuss these topics afterwards. And you know what? I thought of this because I've been joining their regular Twitter space, and we have different perspectives on the news. So I think it will be a really fascinating discussion. So my Twitter is @spiderworking. You will see, if you follow me on Twitter, you'll see my little blue circle at 10:30 a.m. But let's talk news.
Hi, I'm Lee from Wellshot, and you're watching the Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb. Cheers.
For digital marketers, algorithms can be the bane of our lives. In fact, I'm just going to precursor this with, I do not believe that we should spend our entire time chasing the algorithm. However, it's important to know how these things work, right? And Instagram have actually, for the first time ever, they have revealed how their algorithm, or they are saying there are many algorithms that are part of this. How do you call it an algorithm if there are many algorithms about the process of what we see in our feeds? And they've broken it down for us. Now, it's impossible for them to tell us everything. This is a massive machine with signals and all bits and pieces going in there, but they're giving us the key parts of the algorithm that determine what we see in our feeds, in our stories, in Explore, in Reels. And they've actually broken it down into 3 sections. They've broken it down into your feed and your stories, your Explore tab, and the Reels tab. Because each works a little differently. If you think about it, for the feed and stories, that's what you see from the people you follow. But both Explore and Reels, you see content that Instagram has decided you're going to be interested in, mostly from people that you don't follow. So let's just look at one of those, because we've got other things to discuss. But let's have a look at one of those, which is the feed and stories. How do they rank that? So the first thing that they look at is how popular that post is on Instagram. So how many people have commented, liked, engaged with that post, and how quickly are they doing that after it's posted? And if you are, somebody who looks at algorithms like me, this is kind of a bit of a surprise to us, because we always thought that this didn't matter, that the only engagement that mattered was the engagement that we got from the people who have engaged with us before. That was the way to get, if somebody engages with your posts, they will see more of your posts. It won't necessarily have a knock-on effect on the popularity of the post in the feed or in stories, but apparently that's not the case. If a post is popular, it's going to appear higher in your feed, in your stories on Instagram. So that was a surprise to me. The second thing then is the second thing is how you have engaged with that creator before. So do you comment or like on those posts a lot? And this is traditionally where we think the Instagram algorithm was based, your personal engagement with that creator. And that does have an effect on whether you see their posts. The third thing then is the type of post. So actually the type of post and the content of the post. So have you as a user engaged with content like this before? So this is why I see so much cat content in my feed, because I always engage with photos of cats. So it shows me more photos of cats. But it could also be the type of content. It could be, is it a video? Is it a carousel? Is it a share from IGTV? Is it just a photo? What sort of type of content do I consume the most? And the final one is the most interesting and the best news, I think. And this is your relationship with the creator. This is different to how much you engage with the creator, because it's two-way. How much do you comment on their posts or like their posts, and how much do they comment on your posts? So from a business point of view, we may hate algorithms, right? But from a business point of view, this totally makes sense, right? So firstly, we need to have an audience of people that are relevant to our business. So stop worrying about how many followers you have and just make sure they're the right ones. Secondly, we need to be posting content that those people are going to find interesting and that is relatable to the sort of content that they already engage with on Instagram. So, don't just go and post a random cat picture to get me, because if it's not about your business, I am going to engage with it, to be honest, if it's a cat. But anyway, if you're putting out good posts that are interesting to your target market, that should work for you. And thirdly, it's two-way. Don't just post content hoping people engage with you. You need to go out there and engage with members of your audience as well, because when you build a relationship with those people, they're more likely to see your content. So as much as I hate algorithms, this one does make sense, and there wouldn't be a whole lot that I would be changing in what I recommend to clients of what they post on Instagram, except that first bit that is interesting. How popular is your post on Instagram? I'm not going to go into the two other areas of discoverability because we'll be here all day, but I will leave a link below, and it is something we can discuss in Twitter Spaces later on. Oh, I just banged my microphone. Sorry. Hello to Catherine. Good morning. Are you drinking tea or coffee or something else lovely? Hello, Rachel. You're going to post a cat. Well, if you post a cat, I'm not a big Instagrammer, I like to see how it works and stuff, but I'm not a big Instagrammer. But if I'm on Instagram, when you post a cat, you're pretty guaranteed my explore feed is just cats. That's all I see. Pretty much my Reels feed is just cats. So, want to get my attention? Post a cute cat. Okay, let's have a look at what's next in the news.
This is May King from The FOMO Creator, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Android phones are soon going to follow Apple's lead and enact a stronger privacy policy for developers, which means that it will be harder to target people with personalized ads. We don't know exactly what's going to go into it yet. We hear that it is going to be less strict than the Apple one. There won't be necessarily a pop-up window. There will be the option to switch off personalization, but it won't be in your face. Do you want to be tracked? I think the reason for that is, of course, Google run personalized ads, and Google own Android. But they are going to be putting these privacy sections in place. We don't know when it's going to happen, but we know it is in the works. So if you thought, well, at least my customers are all on Android, they don't use iPhones. Sorry, guys. There's a good chance you're going to lose those as well. What I find interesting is all the big tech companies wanting to be seen to be valuing your privacy. Whether they really are or not, we would need to delve, but it's a really brilliant marketing tactic. They know that all of a sudden, probably since that big hack a few years ago on Facebook, audiences are suddenly caring about their privacy like they never did before. For a while we were enamored with social media and we didn't care, but we really do now. So the marketing tactic is looking at what their customers care about and differentiating themselves in the market for being the people who value your privacy. I think it's a brilliant tactic from the big tech companies, but it's also something we can think about. What do our audience value, and are we tapping into those values as marketers? Good morning to Louise, who is watching on LinkedIn, but that's because when I think Louise, I think LinkedIn. This time last week, myself and Louise were not this time, but this day, we were enjoying a nice little drink together. So hello to Louise, who is on YouTube. Right. Don't forget to let me know what's in your cup. It's lovely to see you all. And also, question of the day. Let me put it up on screen. Would you buy a Facebook smartwatch? I want to know your answers. Obviously, this relates to one of our news stories. Would you buy it? I know Louise's answer. She already answered on Twitter. Would you buy a Facebook smartwatch and wear it? Most importantly, I'd love to know your answer to that.
I'm Ian Anderson-Gray and you're watching Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Mark Zuckerberg made an announcement on Facebook this week. In a Facebook post, he announced that Facebook paid events were going to be free until 2023. And, this is good news, right? This is good news because if you are somebody who holds events, you now have the option within Facebook to set up a paid event so people can sign up for the event, buy their ticket for the event directly on Facebook. They don't need to go anywhere else. The downside to this is, and I don't know if it's changed, but up until recently, you were only able, if you had a paid event, you were only able to sell tickets on Facebook. If you tried to link to Eventbrite, it was saying no, it had to happen on Facebook. So it was kind of crushing. I'm not sure Eventbrite are a little guy, but it's crushing the little guys out of the market. This was your only option. I don't love that, I think it should be an option, but obviously Facebook want us all to monetize through Facebook itself rather than sending people off site. That is their reason. They are not taking a cut of your sales until 2023, which means they're going to be able to onboard a whole load of people to start running their events via Facebook events. I think that's their strategy behind it. And if you notice, Apple and Facebook just aren't getting on at the moment. And Mark here has a dig at Apple in his post saying that, they charge too big a fee when they do it within apps. Which is interesting, isn't it? Oh, I'm hiding behind Mark. Sorry, Mark. So he took this opportunity, one, to say he's doing something for free, and two, to say, Apple are rubbish and they're ripping you off, which I find really interesting. This is good news for small businesses because, of course, you will be able to continue to run these events without having to pay Facebook. It is bad news for the small guys, or if you want to run an event where you're not selling your tickets through Facebook, you may as well just abandon the events tool altogether. Rachel says she would not buy a Facebook smartwatch, and she's drinking coffee. Ginny, a Facebook smartwatch? No, I don't want to leave you hanging. I wouldn't either. I don't know who is going to buy a Facebook smartwatch if they launch such a thing.
You're watching the Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Instagram is launching some new monetization tools for creators. We've known they're coming for quite some time, but this week they launched their first one. And when I say creators is a code word that people use for influencers. And they use that because the word influencer is so hated. So Basically, when we say creator, we mean influencer. They're launching some new tools for influencers. And I think this is a smart move from Instagram because, you know, right up until recently, maybe until TikTok, Instagram was the home of influencer marketing. That is where the influencers lived. And if they want to retain that, now we've got the likes of TikTok, Pinterest, even LinkedIn supporting creators. They need to differentiate themselves. So these new tools will make it easier for businesses to work with creators. And that will mean Instagram is still king of influencer zone. The first tool is launched this week, and the first tool is I'm hidden behind it. It has hit me on the head. The first tool is going to be the ability to tag products from other people's shops, from the brands that you're working with shops in your posts if you are a creator, which is great, right? Because it means it's a direct link from your post to that brand's shop. So it's a direct link to sales. This is rolling out this week. They're also rolling out the ability for creators to create shops. I'm saying create a lot there. And soon, they're using that term that social networks use. In the coming months, they're going to roll out their affiliate program, which is a really good way. Everything can happen within the Instagram ecosystem, which, like when we've talked about Facebook events, is exactly what they want. You will not need to leave Instagram. You can find your influencer, you can set up your affiliate account, they'll be able to tap into your affiliate account, and all the payouts will happen via that in Instagram. That's coming soon. And the final tool is that a lot of influencers would have merchandise shops. I don't really follow like influencers, so I've missed this trend. But apparently you can buy like t-shirts with their slogans on. You're going to be able to actually set up as an influencer a shop within Instagram that will link automatically to some specific merchandising platforms to set up your shop that way. So it will make the whole thing more streamlined. Like I said, Instagram is trying to retain its place as king of the influencers here. And again, as a business, we can learn from this, right? How do we retain the thing that makes us stand out from our competitors when our competitors start stealing it? Food for thought. Good morning to Barbara from Be Coached. Hello, Barbara. Barbara, would you buy a Facebook smartwatch? I'd love to know your answer to that. I know somebody who wouldn't. I can pretty guarantee you that Deirdre would not buy a Facebook watch. Would you buy a Facebook smartwatch? I know the answer. Deirdre is watching on YouTube for a reason. Barbara is saying no, she wouldn't buy a Facebook watch. Not one person has said yes to me yet, and I've asked this question in several places. We'll talk about that shortly.
Hey, it's Andy at Content Cal here, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
We've got a secret sneak look at what superfollow on Twitter will look like. Thanks to Jane Munchin Wong, who, as we know, is a reverse engineer. She has posts found on the back end of Twitter what this is going to look like. So superfollow, if you missed it, it is a way that you will be able to offer exclusive content or exclusive access to content to people who subscribe to you on Twitter. So your regular Twitter will stay the same, but you will give bonuses to anyone who super follows you. And this is similar to the likes of Patreon. There's something on YouTube that you can do similar to get subscriptions. We heard it was happening, but now for the first time, we know what it may look like. So this is early stage. Oh, that is the wrong screen. Here we go. It's okay, you can't see that. I know you can't see that. But it's a whole lot of screens that Jane has found. So the most interesting thing is to be able to apply to have a superfollow account. You're going to need 10,000 followers on Twitter, 10K. So that's the same as Instagram for, getting the swipe up, 10k followers. You're also going to need to have tweeted at least 25 times in the last 30 days. Now, I know all of you who are Twitterers here, that will not be a problem. You will be able to do that, and you must be over 18. The other things that are interesting, let me just, because I don't want to hide behind this, are that you'll be able to categorize yourself. You'll be able to say, this is the category that my superfollow fits into, which does suggest there'll be some sort of discoverability. It won't just necessarily be people you know who will superfollow you, although I do imagine that's going to be your main audience. And one of the categories is adult. I'm not sure I like the way this is going, but obviously that would be a big money spinner, both for superfollow and for Twitter. Talking of Twitter, don't forget that at 10:30 a.m. this morning, an hour after this show, I am co-hosting a Twitter space with Mei King Zhang and Dan Holloway to discuss this week's news topics. If you go to my Twitter at Spiderworking, it's pinned to the top. It is in my Twitter stories, so you will come and join and add your voice to what you think. Deirdre, no, would not have an Apple Watch. There's really no takers on an Apple Watch. On a Facebook Watch, sorry. Are you being ironic? Because I wasn't surprised. Barbara's laughing at the 10. Surely, Barbara, you must have 10k followers. I'm not quite there yet. And I've been on Twitter for like my entire life, pretty much. I'm only 7,000, I think. So, still got a bit of work to do, to be honest. I've just shown that my computer is showing. So let me just twist this around. Right, let's move on, will we?
Hi, I'm Carmel Siri and you're watching Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Pinterest is launching shopping to more locations. Still not Ireland. We still won't be able to shop on Pinterest, directly on Pinterest from Ireland. Every year around this time of year, Pinterest expands its shopping products. And you know why that is? It's June. You need to be thinking about your Christmas or your holiday sales now. And Pinterest are obviously gearing themselves up by opening up the shopping experience in other regions. If you're in the UK or the US, or if you sell to the UK or the US, it's definitely worth looking at this shopping product. They are rolling it out now to, I think it's Germany, Canada, Australia. I was wondering why haven't they given it to Ireland? You know, because I want this. I use Pinterest like once every 6 months. I want this. And I went and I did a little bit of research. You know, we aren't even in the top 20 countries user-wise using Pinterest. And I know there's a small population in Ireland, but in those top 20 countries, there are as smaller user members as 1 million. So that means not even 1 in 4 people in Ireland is using Pinterest on a regular basis. However, if you are an e-commerce business based somewhere else, if you're based in one of the countries that does offer shopping, I would 100% be getting on this right now, because I do think it is underrated as a shopping tool. Some of the things that you'll be able to do, you'll be able to go into Pinterest, and when you search for something, there'll be 2 tabs. There'll be the regular search results and there'll be shops. So you'll be able to directly buy the thing that you're looking at. There'll also be, if you they have a thing called Lens, so you can see something in a shop or a shop window. I actually did this. This was the last time I used Pinterest. You can point your lens at it and it will bring up search results that mimic it, and that will bring you straight into buying. So while I find this really interesting, I just wonder how long it will be before someone like Amazon incorporates this. Because Amazon is totally, isn't it, that in the moment this is, I'm going to buy this, I need to buy this now, and you go to Amazon. And Pinterest is kind of replicating that or making it easier to do that. So I'm sure Amazon have probably tried to acquire Pinterest before. But will this actually just get integrated into other tools once they work out the technology? Ireland is the equivalent of Android to iOS, always last. You're an Android user, I'm assuming, Barbara. We're not always last. Sometimes we get because we're so small, we get the tests We were one of the first people to test taking the like count away on Instagram, which I'm sure nobody was impressed with. Ginny says, I follow a Pinterest expert and now they use the platform for some of my clients. It's really powerful. So yes, it's really powerful for driving traffic to your website as well. If you're a blogger or even if you're a YouTuber, it's definitely worth looking at it. It is a great way to get a new audience onto your content. Ginny, I'd be interested in, is that a shopping client? Is it an e-commerce client? Are they selling stuff through it? I'd love to know. Right, let's see what's next.
Hi, I'm Kyra Fingleton from Glamping Under the Stars, and you're watching The Digital Coffee with Amanda Webb.
Why would Facebook launch a smartwatch? Why? If you're a business and you're thinking of launching a new product, probably one... I need to do this again. I'm going to start again. Why would Facebook launch a smartwatch? Why would they do that? Because if you're a business and you want to launch a new product, probably you want to go and talk to your customers, see what it is that they would like you to do, what it is that's important to them, what they're interested in. You'd look at their negative take on your company and see what they may not be interested in. So why is Facebook launching a smartwatch? A smartwatch, a device that you put on your wrist. It's going to have 2 cameras. You'll be able... I'm wondering how I shoot video from my smartwatch. 2 cameras, one on the back, one that you'll take off and you can mount it on things. So it'll be a bit like a GoPro. I mean, it does sound pretty cool. It will have a health monitor. So it will measure your heart rate. It sounds cool, but people don't really trust Facebook with their privacy, right? People don't. Did you know that something like 90% of people that saw that little window pop up from Facebook on their iPhones, on their iPads that said, do you want Facebook to track you? Said no. 90%. They were thinking it was going to be 60%. The other 10% are all the marketers in the world. I think that's pretty much it. So the fact that people don't trust them even with that suggests to me that they're not going to want to give them their health information. Apparently they've been working on this for a couple of years, so maybe they started working on it before all the kind of dodgy privacy stuff that has gone on. There is a chance there. Like I said, it does sound really cool. It would be great to see this product. It's an interesting product if somebody else was going to launch it. Could it just be a swipe at Apple? Are they going, well, if you're going to kill my advertising, I'm going to take your Apple Watch market? Could it be, and this is what people are guessing, that this is a new way for them to get data from you? Because everything that you do on your watch, you'll be able to share with Facebook. So there'll be a strong integration and they'll be able to track you in a way that they have lost because of the iOS updates and because of the new privacy updates that are going to be coming everywhere. I find it surprising because not one single person, even in a little anonymous poll I did on Twitter, said they would buy a Facebook watch. So it's an interesting one, and I do feel there's got to be a reason behind it, because obviously this isn't something that their customers are screaming out for. And if you're a small business and to do something like this, you would probably go out of business. I think Facebook has enough money to put it off. Just Rachel and Ginny, you need to talk. I'd love to drive traffic to my website. I wrote a blog post on it, but it was a few years ago, so it's probably out of date. Ginny and Rachel, you should get together. Not selling through Pinterest yet, just website traffic. So you two, Rachel, Ginny, you should have a chat. That is all the news for this week, but don't forget, come back at 10:30 onto Twitter, where I will be co-hosting, it's called the Digital Coffee Extra Shot, I think, because I was thinking about an extra shot of coffee. It's the first week, so we're trying stuff out, but come and join us, 10:30 a.m. on Twitter, where we will discuss all these topics and you can chime in, tell us a little bit about yourself, tell us your perspective on this. Maybe, Ginny, you can pick up some work now on Pinterest with other people for sure. Right, that's it for this week. I will be back, same bat time, same bat place next week. Thank you for joining me.